Assalamu alaikum and welcome to QGTV. Today is day 26 of Ramadan 2011 and we're still on our chapter study. We have I think 4 days to go before we finish Ramadan 2011, and today we'll be doing chapter 53 An-Najm and chapter 54 Al-Qamar. So let's begin. Right, chapter 54 Al-Qamar is I believe part of the block of chapters which begins from chapter 50 Qaf all the way to chapter 56 Al-Waqiyah. It has the same kind of meter as Adh-Dhariyat and At-Tur, in the sense that its verses are short and sharp, but its opening topic is somewhat different. And I think its topic is a continuation of chapter 52's ending. So chapter 52 ends with talking about the Idbar al-Nujum, or the retreat, or the stars turning back. And chapter 53 begins with Wan Najm idha hawa, verily by the Najm when it descends. So what is this descent talking about? Or more importantly, what is this star? Well, I believe that the star is, as the Quran says, the star is what guides you. So in society, it's talking perhaps about the various institutions of society which will fall if the revelation were to happen. Because some institutions are built on dhulm or injustice, and this is when revelation happens, the institution arrives, the right institution arrives, and then we can see justice take place. So the beginning of An-Najm is just that. It says, Wan Najm idha hawa, by the Najm when it descends. Ma dhalla sahibukum wa ma ghawa, your companion is neither astray nor being misled. So it's talking to the readers now. It's talking about their sahib, or their companion. Now, I am not entirely certain if this companion is their soul. If it is their soul, then grammatically it should be sahibatukum, so it may not be their soul, but it could also be the one who receives revelation among them. So and the reason why it's phrased like this is because most people don't receive revelation, whereas this person, this sahib, he received revelation. So then it continues, وَمَا يَنْتِكُ عَنِ الْهَوَى, he does not speak or articulate on the desire or constructs. It's interesting here that the word is yantiku and not yukallimu or yakulu, meaning nataka is the most primordial language. It's language beyond any kind of human accretions. So this person has received the highest form of language. In huwa illa wahyun yuha, it is nothing but an inspiration inspired on him. Allamahu shadidul quwwa, and he was taught by the one who is mighty in power. So this reminds me of Allama al-Quran. Tomorrow we'll be doing Surah Ar-Rahman. It starts with Ar-Rahman, Allama al-Quran. It's talking about Allah. So then this passage continues and talks about the process of attaining wahi. That's from verse 1 to verse 18. Then we have verse 19 to 23, which talks about Lat, Uzza and Manat. These three are states, mental states, psychological states, which the human being assumes in order to attain some kind of divine aspiration. It's not a good thing. It's something which they need to push aside in order to worship only Allah. And ayat 23 ends that by saying, in hiya illa asma'un sammaytumuha antum wa aba'ukum. These are nothing but you and what you and your parents have essentialized. You have created this, and it is nothing but conjecture. In yattabi'u illa az-zan wa ma tahwa al-anfus. So, as you can see, it says here, wa ma tahwa al-anfus. What your nafs, your souls, have constructed. If you can see verse 1 talks وَالنَّجْمِ إِذَا هَوَى. Here it's talking وَمَا تَهْوَى النَّفْسِ. So that's why I believe that the sahib was the nafs. The nafs here is in a state where it has constructs, plenty of constructs. But in the beginning exposition is talking about the nafs in a state of total connectivity with reality. So this is essentially what this chapter is about, to attain that state. Next, the chapter talks about Suhuf Musa, or the pages of Musa. There are a number of pages, obviously, with Musa's story scattered in the Quran. And this story is mentioned here because I believe that it has an intimate connectivity with this process, closer than other stories anyway. Then it mentions Ibrahim, alladhi waffa. He completed his engagements, or I believe that he completed what was destined for him. Allah taziru waziratun wizra ukhra. Namely, so, and this is something which is connected with Ibrahim, that no bearer of burdens can bear the burden of another. This is essentially what Ibrahim is about. The story of Ibrahim is the smashing of the idols, and the idols intercept that connectivity human beings have with Allah. Ibrahim is the one who fulfilled, and he removed that state. And it says, وَأَنْ لَيْسَ لِلْإِنسَانِ إِلَّا مَا سَاءَ. For insan, the human being in a precocious, in a weak state, he will have nothing but what he runs for. So he needs to strive here. وَأَنَّ سَيْئَهُ سَوْفَ يُرَى. And he will see his striving, and he will be rewarded. Then we have some descriptions about Allah. I think a very interesting one is وَأَنَّهُ, this is verse 49, sorry. وَأَنَّهُ هُوَ رَبُّ الشِّعْرَى. He is the Lord of Ash-Shi'ra. Shi'ra comes from the word shara'a, which means which means something perceived. So Ash-Shi'ra is perhaps the perception, and Allah is the Rabb. He is the one who allows perception. Then it says, it is He who destroyed the people of Ad and Thamud and Nuh. So here again, Ad and Thamud are mentioned before Nuh, whereas in previous narrations they have been mentioned after Nuh. Only once have we seen this pattern before. I think it was yesterday. So here Ad, Thamud and Nuh are mentioned, and we finally come to the end of this chapter, and it says, أَفَمِنْ هَذَا الْحَدِيثِ تَعْجَبُونَ. So Hadha al-Hadith is talking about the entire events of the Quran. Do you wonder at this? And it says, وَتَذَكُّونَ وَلَا تَبْكُونَ. And you will laugh and not weep. وَأَنْتُمْ سَامِدُونَ. And waste your time in vanities. So essentially, this Hadha al-Hadith, and we will see Hadha al-Hadith again in chapter 56, verse 81 tomorrow, is essential for us to understand its nature and be emoted. The weeping is emotions, and we should not waste our time in vanities, and instead we should fasjudu lillah, prostrate to Allah, obey His command, submit to Him, wa'budu. So if and serve Him. So here we can see that this end connects back to the beginning, because once we achieve this state, we will have the guidance of Allah, and Allah will intervene in our lives and show us the various signs, and this is described in the early part of this chapter. So this is essentially what this chapter is about. It's about revelation and connection with our lives. So with that, let's move on to chapter 54.